Good afternoon and welcome to Divorce and Finance, the voice of the CDFA. I'm Carol Lee Roberts, your host and the president of the Institute for Divorce Financial Analysts. I invite you to join us the first Tuesday of each month at 1 p.m. Eastern as we have a new episode. IDFA was formed in 1993 to help financial professionals assist clients going through divorce and help them avoid unnecessary financial consequences. During these sessions, we'll discuss how divorce has evolved over the decades and how the CDFA profession is continuing to evolve to help both advisors and the divorcing public. I'm pleased that today we're being joined by Renee Hansen. Renee is a certified divorce financial analyst, a certified financial planner, and is the owner of Affinity Wealth Advisory Group, a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. For more than 30 years, Renee has offered comprehensive financial planning services, including portfolio risk management, income strategies, retirement planning, and insurance planning. As a CDFA, she has helped clients navigate the financial aspects of divorce and other major life transitions, such as retirement, job change, widowhood, and the new family members. And without further ado, Renee, why don't you tell, we had just been speaking before this, and I reminded Renee that she had actually received her CDFA certification almost 20 years ago. It'll be 20 years in May of 2024. So Renee, what made you get started in divorce financial planning?
I was approached by a prospect to help her understand money through the divorce. And then I learned as a professional financial advisor like myself, CFP, Chartered Financial Consultant, all those other designations and certifications that you have, is that we are really skilled in understanding money, but we were not equipped with the knowledge of the nuances of divorce. And so my research and learning more about it led me to the Institute of Divorce Financial Analysts to get my Certified Divorce Financial Analyst certification. And what I found, of course, that it's ever evolving, and the continuing education component of our certification is very valuable in keeping us knowledgeable in current events.
So I've mentioned before that we often get questions about why would anyone choose to focus on divorce, that it can be such a difficult time for people, and why would you want to deal with people in the middle of that difficult time? How would you answer that question?
Sometimes I've heard them say, oh, they're such difficult people, when really they're people with difficulties. And while they might be temporarily vulnerable and maybe their best sides are not always visible during these life transitions, I can say that about all of us, quite frankly. We don't always behave in our greatest moments with behavior you would want to have repeated. But I will say this, people are in need. They need help. They need to understand they're capable of making better decisions with the assistance that I provide. And I find high value in that and high satisfaction, even though it might be rocky moments.
I noticed in looking at your bio that you also work as a mediator from time to time, and you're a founding member of Women in Service and Hope. Can you talk a little bit about your volunteer work and what that's come to mean to you?
So I've been volunteering at Fresh Start Women's Foundation, doing seminars, divorce seminars, and helping people understand the three components of divorce, which of course is a division of assets, spousal maintenance, and child support, and the three steps, which of course is the physical divorce, the emotional divorce, and the financial divorce. And then I was a founding member of Women in Service and Hope through St. Vincent de Paul, which is helping women as they exit homelessness and find a footing once again, developing a foundation so that they have a future that they're in control of.
That's really important work, and it's lovely that you take the time to do that in addition to your work with Ameriprise. If you had one piece of advice, either for the general public or for a new CDFA or both, what would it be?
Well, as you know, Carolee, I do have specialization in helping people through life transitions. And I find that when people better understand two things, the first is that there is a process of transition, whether it's an anticipated event like divorce often is, moving to the ending stage, moving into the passage stage, and finding a new normal. I find that a person is conflicted in their financial identity, and they don't know what their financial identity is. Now, the components of one's financial identity is their money story, their values, their knowledge, their skills, and experiences. All these lead to behavior. The awareness of these ingredients can really lead to better management, which then creates the financial confidence in being able to make decisions. And divorce is a big decision, and you don't get to do overs on it, right? Once it's done, it's done. But having an understanding of their financial identity can lead to greater emotional comfort and fewer financial regrets. So both as a financial advisor that can be aware of not only their own financial identity, but become aware of their client's financial identity. And if the client is also aware of the financial identity, together the advisor can better lead and guide and provide advice to allow the client to feel much more able to make decisions that they're less likely to regret.
You had mentioned transitions, and I know you are a certified financial transitionist, and you had talked briefly about the steps in transition. Could you revisit that a minute and give a little bit more explanation? Because I think too often, both as financial advisors and just as people, we go through these steps, but without appreciating the steps or even being able to identify. I think too often people try just to kind of will their way through transitions rather than understanding the entire process.
You know, when I think about being a certified financial transitionist, I always think that Susan Bradley, the founder of the Institute, says when life changes, money changes. When money changes, life changes. And I think that that's very true. But I do believe that many CDFA professionals can accurately assess a client's emotions and behavior, but are not well equipped to help the client identify their struggles and what's going on. So as a certified financial transitionist, I can tie the technical and money side, the financial side together, and can have open conversations about what a client is experiencing by way of emotions and feelings, so that we can begin to connect on a different level rather than it oftentimes being the elephant in the room. I know you're angry, you know you're angry, we're not going to talk about it. But the skill sets that I have, I'm able to approach it in a comfortable way so that the client can feel a sense of relief that they can express how they're feeling and know that they're in a safe, comfortable environment, that they're not exposing themselves to too much vulnerability. So I do like this, where I can then talk about what are you feeling right now? What are you struggling with? And then I'm equipped with specific tools that I can help guide them through that process, bring the anxiety down, bring them to a point where they can begin to make decisions that are comfortable for them, providing the confidence to be able to move forward.
I think it's so important that the entirety of financial planning is starting to look at how to deal with the emotions, the behaviors, the human part of financial planning, because I remember years ago when I was working with a financial planning certification program, and I kept thinking, oh my God, we train these people on all these tools when they're trying to get their CFP, but we never ever train them how to talk to people or how to educate people. And I think it just bodes well for the entire profession that that's becoming more and more of a recognized need. And there's things like Susan Bradley's Financial Transitionist Institute to help advisors with that need.
I think it's highly valuable. I think it's being recognized more. The public, once they are engaged appropriately, find the relationship with financial advisors highly rewarding and valuable, because it's not just about the dollars and cents. It's not about the financial plan. It's about being able to confidently and comfortably live their life fully and have look backs that say, I lived life, rather than I regret this.
Right. What would you say is the single biggest change you've seen in your last 20 years in the area of divorce?
It's a tough one to answer, because I could talk about all sorts of technical changes that we've seen along the way. But one that does stick out to me is the increase in gray divorce being longer marriages, older people who have chosen to end their relationship. And what I see in this, which is a little bit, I don't know, encouraging to somebody, is that women are finding the courage to change their life trajectory and find happiness, even having to go through the experience of the pain of divorce. So I see more and more of the gray divorce component. And that's not an easy decision. It's a very difficult decision, particularly in many of these relationships where they've not been the primary breadwinner, or they've not been even the primary financial person. So their willingness and boldness to be able to step into a new world for themselves is rewarding to work with them. So I think that's a big change that I've seen. Longer marriages ending in divorce.
What do you wish more of the general public knew about CDFAs and the work they do?
I wish that there was, I wish that people understood, and by the way, not just the general public, but those who serve people in divorce, professionals such as family law attorneys, that a CDFA is a calming person during a period of extreme anxiety. And the CDFA is able to bring organization, projections, and effectiveness in being able to make decisions for all parties. It gives the facts to a highly emotionally charged environment, where the law, of course, always plays. There are rules that have to be followed in divorce. That's what divorce law is about. But boy, the meaningful value of content and guidance and knowledge that's provided from a CDFA and an effective divorce team. I wish the community knew more about that.
It would be lovely if people contemplating divorce thought as much about what financial help they need as they think about what legal help they need, because I think having both of those components makes it far less difficult, and
Yes.
the actual settlement far more agreeable for all involved.
And I'll just tag on to that, because I think that was well said, Carolee, but also it provides for the least amount of emotional and regret baggage when you are well informed to make the decisions.
Before we go, there's one more question I'd like to ask you, or opportunity I'd like to give you. You can view it either way. But I have seen more and more people starting to look at divorce financial planning as something positive they can bring to their community and something positive they can bring to their clients. We've taken this step beyond, oh, do I want to deal with divorcing people, and gone to, I want to be a resource for somebody who's going through a very difficult time in their life. I know you have multiple designations. Can you just speak a little about what those other designations bring to your clients?
I think for general term clients, along with being a certified financial planner and a chartered financial consultant, certified estate planner, certified fund specialist, behavioral financial advisor, APMA, CDFA, now working on the CSA. Maybe I'm just certifiable. I don't know. I believe all of these come together to create a holistic environment of integrating every part of their life and being able to make decisions. I do believe that finances are not as highly charged or emotional as a divorce transition is, but creates anxiety for a lot of people. So all of these together, I believe, bring the emotional component, the financial knowledge component, the skill set to be able to prepare a financial plan that provides direction that is specific to their values, their goals, and their risk tolerance. Because if you can align values, goals, and risk tolerance, the decisions becomes a little bit easier. You have a platform or guidance on decisions that are a reflection of who you are and where you are going and what you want to be. And then it allows less questionable, questions coming into mind later. Oh, should I not? Should I? These confusing and conflicting thoughts, particularly with the amount of data that is thrown at us through the media, TV, computers, phones, on a pretty regular basis.
Well, it was interesting reading your bio and seeing all of the different designations and certifications you have. I know many people claim to be lifelong learners and, always learning something new, but looking at what you've accomplished and the fact that you're still pursuing new avenues is really impressive.
Thank you. That's a nice compliment. Now that you've made my day.
Well, it was a real pleasure speaking with you, and thank you for being part of the CDFA community and for sharing your time with us this afternoon.
Thank you, Carolee, and for everything you do for the IDFA and for us CDFAs. You're a woman that I admire, and I value our friendship and relationship.